What's up, YouTube? It's Ness again. I'm coming with a different kind of deck today. It hasn't been something I said I was going to post a while back, and I never ended up doing it, but I'm actually going to post this deck today. So today it is going to be the 2006 GOAT format deck. So I've been really debating on whether or not I wanted to post this or not because I play 50 card decks because I'm a weirdo, but I figured why not. I'll go ahead and give it a go and see what you guys think about it, okay? So we're just going to start with the main deck. I was going to say, I did go through and check the ban list at the time. So the main deck, you start out, you got the one-win condition, I guess you'd say. Well, at least from my deck, it's one of Blockbuster Soldiers, like the ace in the hole for the game at the time. So I had one of him, one breaker. As he was get out the spell removal and stuff like that back then, and you know, MST was at 1, so definitely ran breaker. Plus he was a dark. One Cyberjar. Cyberjar was, from what I read, he was allowed. A lot of the Go control decks just all didn't run him, I guess because of cross out or whatever, but with running 2 Magician of Faiths and, you know, Magical Merchant, stuff like that, I figured why not have another flip effect monster in here. As I say, it's an easy way to get cards in your hand and to shuffle up the field. So run the one Cyberjar. DD Warrior Lady was an out. As I say, it was a way to get rid of your opponent's DLS or their Genzo or whatever. As I say, Setner in a critical condition. If they didn't have their, they already used up their crosshouse and have no other way to get to them, and she put in the work that was necessary. I didn't realize this card was legal at the time, but I ran the one Dark Magician of Chaos too. I was gonna say, just for the simple fact that it was legal. I mean, you had Premature Burial, you could play Premature Burial and get him out of the grave, get another spell back, like one of your Trinity cards or whatever. And plus, as I say, I mean, why not include him in the build? Another card, I think this was at 1 back then, I'm pretty sure, but Exile Force, good answer to cards like Genzo and DLS and stuff like that. Yeah, I really like Exile Force, always have. Another card that I saw that was still at 1 during the time of this this format was Injection Fairy Light. I was going to say, if you can manage to get through and swing at your opponent's stuff, you know, why not? As I say, one Genzo. I was going to say, Genzo is pretty standard most of the builds I saw. Pretty good card for the most part. As I say, he's definitely lost his luster over the years, but to this day, he's still one of my favorite cards, so why not? Another card that I saw that was legal back then, of course, you had to have the Tournament Pack one. I think it's before Dark Game too. Was rented out. Was Morphing Jar. Obviously, set, flip, get 5 new cards, discard whatever you had, set up stuff for chaos plays, etc. Tangen, I was gonna say he was legal. He was a searcher. I was gonna say you get you all your stuff. This one with your Tribe Infecting Virus, which I'm about to get to. I was gonna say it was your discard outlet. I was gonna say you used Grace for Charity. Made it not so bad. The Walking with deck, you tried Infecting Virus. I was going to say he was pretty standard in every deck back then too. Only run the one Air Knight. I see builds at 1, run 2 of these, maybe even 3 at times. I only like the 1 just because it is a really good card, but I feel like having too many tribute heavy monsters in certain situations doesn't work out for me too well. Sure, Reese, basically, if you're playing Goat format, you know, this is the card that eats goats alive. As I say, pretty awesome looking artwork too. Spirit Monster, can't go wrong. I think he's one of 2 Spirit Monsters people played back then. Blade Knight, a lot of people didn't opt to run it. I always liked running Blade Knight back then. For the simple fact that if you had no cards in your hand, your opponent's set and stuff, their Magician of Face, their Morphing Jar, Cyber Jar, whatever else, you know, Magical Merchant, they don't get the effect off of it. Or, well, it's if he's the only monster on the field, excuse me. Either way. Card that was legal at the time of this format, Cyberstein. I got one. I was going to say, I stuck him into the build just because I've had the damn thing in my binder forever, and I have a bunch of other fusions that I wanted access to, and it's awesome. The one Assailant, as I said, this card was actually a 2 back then. I might be wrong, but I was going to say, I knew Warrior Lady was a 1, and I love being able to remove stuff, so I definitely had to run the other Assailant. Siren Universe. Everybody says it's the card with the big ass because of its 19 defense, 18 attack. This card's absolutely ridiculous. Back if this card came out before the 4-star 1900 era, this card would have been a 1. And the fact that it does piercing damage and stuff like that, and it's an overall good card, plus it's a dark. Magical Merchant. I was going to say, I honestly never ran this card back in the day, and I see this card pop up on so many different recipes or deck profiles or whatever for Goat format, and I've seen why. I was going to say, it actually puts in work. It's a really good card, plus it's a light. I run just 2 Magician of Faiths. I was going to say, a lot of decks ran 1 or 2. I was going to say, I think it was at 2 back then, so I ran 2 of them. And then we run the Mystic Tomato and a Doria combo. I was going to say 2 more darks. Mystic Tomato help you get out other stuff too, and then New Doria. They kill your New Doria. They basically they screw themselves because, you know, New Doria's effect's pretty good. On Spirit Reaper. Any chance I really get, I'll always include this card into a deck. This card was definitely really, really good. The only thing you had to watch out with this card was Air Knights. People could sit and just run, or Air Knight or Zyron Universe. Even in Rage Battle Box, some people played it too. Excuse me. But yeah, I was gonna say that was pretty much the only thing you had to worry about with that. And then the one Tsukiyomi, I was gonna say a lot of people ran 2 of them in time. I only ran 1. As I say, I feel like 2's Kalagi plus. I don't know. Something about running 2 of them just really, really felt fat. Card Destruction. One of the spells, I should say. Even though you had the Trinity, and there was a lot of other different stuff, I feel like Card Destruction was still a very, very valid card to use, just for the fact that if you ended up with a dead hand, you could potentially pitch, anywhere from 3 to 5 cards, and, maybe pull your BLS and a couple other cards, power cards out. So, and then you have, of course, the your Trinity of Delinquent Duo, Graceful Charity, and Pot of Greed. I was going to say they basically all run hand in hand. And then, let's see, you had, after those, you had Vortex was at 1, Heavy Storm, and then 1 lone MST, just because you weren't really allowed to run anything else. As I say, Dark Hole and Shregeki, Marcus Featherduster, all that stuff had long since been banned. So, as I say, that's what we had to work with. The 1 Premature Burial, 1 Snatch Steal. Obviously, Monster Reborn was banned at the time, so you had to enter on that, and then, Change Heart was banned at the time, so Snatch Steal was basically your next best bet. You can always Snatch Steal your opponent's goats, or, Snatch a Goat, turn to Restrict, Snatch a BLS, turn into Gatling Dragon, Snatch a, Air Knight, turn into Ryu Senshi. As I say, they had a lot of different crazy little power plays you can make with Snatch Steal. It's such a versatile card in this format. The 1 Swords Revealing Light, it does come in handy. I just ran 2 Book of Moon. I feel like 3 was overkill. I can't really complain about running 2 of them. As I said, help get your stuff going with your 1,000 Knives Restrict, or you might even save your butt if they're going for a game. And yeah, I do run the 1 Creature Swap. I feel like it was, I think it was at 2 at the time. I feel like it's such a necessary card though, because I feel like it's one of the cards that can really come out and save your ass at the last minute. Especially if you're in a situation where you don't really have a whole lot and you just played Goat, and they got they got BLS or something on the field, or Genzo, you can get, you can at least make some kind of headway. And then I run just two Metamorphosis. I actually have a 3rd one, but I only chose to run 2, just for the simple fact that it felt overkill. So a lot of times when I was running 3 of them in here, I just would draw them and not get anywhere with it. This was a pretty common thing to see back then, was 2 double minute cross out. I was gonna say is a pretty damn good card. I was gonna say cross out your. The thing was, I was gonna say I feel like people just constantly cross out each other's Magician of Faiths back then, but this along with Book of Moon, like if they had your BLS Tsukiyomi or Book of Moon, whatever, Tsukiyomi summon, flip BLS down, cross it out there, no more problems, right? And then I ran 2 goats, 2 scapegoat, just for the fact that again, I feel like 3 was overkill. Obviously, Goat Control, you morph these into your 1,000 Eyes Restricts, and that's basically what you did there. And then for the trap lineup, I did the 1 Call the Haunted. Again, as I say, you have a lot of monster, or you don't have a lot of options for monster recursion and stuff like that. I tried to keep the deck. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 traps. That's all I ran in this deck because of Genzo. But so call on, you get your Genzo. You can call Genzo back. You can call BLS back if you've been summoned right the first time. Dark Magician of Chaos if you pitched it early or whatever. Cylinder, I was gonna say, going back through there and looking at the lists and stuff like that. Cylinder, I didn't see in every deck, but I feel like Cylinder is such a good card. It's the money in the bank kind of option. One Mirror Force because it was legal. Ned's at 3 now. As I say, it's definitely lost its luster over the years, but Mirror Force is really, really good. Was good back then. It's pretty much staple in every deck. One card that ended games was your Ring of Destruction, as I say. That's the card that made people probably crawl across the chairs and would beat each other to death. And the one Torrential Tribute, I was going to say, it definitely got to run Torrential. I was going to say, look, some decks I've seen that didn't run that. I was like, why? And it does Tornado because, you know, you play Dust Tornado, set up SD. Do what you gotta do, right? So like I said, this is a 50 card build for a control deck. I was gonna say it's weird, I know, but let's get on to some of the fusions that I ran. As I say, because I have Cyberstein, I ran I ran 2 Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragons, just because, you know, it's Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Now, some people are gonna criticize this, but I'm playing for fun. I go to tournaments and play competitively and stuff, even with the Go format. The one Master Ball is just because it's awesome. The one Cyber End Dragon, just because, again, ridiculously badass looking. I actually ran 2 twins, just for the fact that, you know, I can morph my BLS and then morph yours. So I figured that maybe running 2 of them wouldn't be a bad option. The one Gatling Dragon, just because it was another option. As I say, the people that want to be Pick, all that card wasn't out, blah blah blah. Gatling Dragon's the other option. I would run for that. King Dragoon, as I say, he's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. So he's a level 7. There weren't a lot of level 7s running around, but in the weird event that somebody would play level 7, you know, Snatch Steal, Metamorphosis, boom, monster, right? Another thing with level 7s was a card that I definitely wanted to include in the build was Last Word for the Planet. Solely for the fact that it's probably one of my favorite. When Labyrinth Nightmare came out, this was my favorite card in the set. Since I didn't really know anything about competitive play back then, but I knew as soon as I got this, I had to get Mariokutai and Sunfire the Dark, just for the simple fact that you know, I wanted to use this badass monster, as I say. Plus his effect of shutting the field down and stuff like that can really lead to some bizarre, crazy crap. This is going to look overkill, but I ran 3 Darkblade the Dragon Knights just because I had them, and you know, he's got piercing damage, morphing into Jinzo into him would be a pretty good thing. And then more just random excess stuff like the Dark Flare Knight. As I say, you don't have to run all of these. Some of these are just for fun. Dark Flare Knight really, other than the fact that he's a body, his other effect really serves no purpose. I believe it has something to do with yeah, it comes to do with some Mirage Knight, which I'm definitely not going to run. So one Ryu Senshi, these were the staple ones. Ryu Senshi, I think he was the one that shut spells down. Or sorry, it was a normal trap card. He negates normal trap cards for a grand, and then flip effect monsters, negate the effects of trap cards, as they say. So yeah, and then he ran 2 of the Fiend Skull Dragon. I was gonna say he was another really popular one. As I say, really cool looking artwork. As I say, he definitely got the artwork. As I say, the 2 monsters that make him really, you see a lot of play. I was gonna say Lester Fiend actually was a really good card in my opinion. But and then I ran 2 Dark Balters. So I was gonna say Dark Balter seems to be probably the one I go into the most, just because his effect seems to be just a little bit more useful. As I say, I believe he's the one that, yes, these don't shut spells down. As I say, and you know, spells back in this format were pretty heavy and ridiculous, so that's why I definitely wanted to run him. These are just filler monsters. 2 Guilty of the Knights. Main reason, it's level 5. I could snag it, morph it, or snag your Air Knights, morph it into Guiltia, sack it for Jinzo, and I had a light in the graveyard. That's the only reason why Guilty is in here. And then these were just other ridiculously stupid ones I ran, like Metal Dragon and Flame Swordsman. As I say, Flame Swordsman's just cool looking. As I say, you got to run him. Then you got Musician King, same thing. It's another level 5. It's a light monster. Lower attack, I guess. This card, I don't think this was out back then, but I definitely feel like this card could have really Parapsycholoid. It's basically when you summon it, you can attack your opponent's life points directly. It's got 1600 attack. As I say, this card, if I play the few times I've played this deck with people in person, as I say, when I pull this up, they're like, I don't think that was out, but whatever. They really appreciate it. As I say, like I said, this is all for fun anyway. I think the only one of the LEB fusions I'm missing, by the way, is Darkfire, or the Darkfire Dragon. So we got the Carbonal Warrior. He's the level 4. Dragoness, Wicked Knight, 3. These were the cards that when you bought an LEB pack, you would pull and you get mad about. But then, like, whenever I went to build this deck, I was so mad because I was having so much trouble finding all these. Charmin, Fusionist. As I say, I think I'm actually out of the LEB fusions now. So another personal favorite, my favorite level 5 to go into. Reaper on the Nightmare. Spirit Reaper that can attack directly. And it's riding a fucking flaming blue Nightmare looking horse. I think the card is called Nightmare Horse, but it's definitely one of my favorite ones. Though John McCain, I was going to say shutting your opponent's there ain't nothing more frustrating than taking their Genzos and metamorphosing it and shutting down three spaces on their field. He's got a real big old butt too. 3,000 defense. And then of course, it was inevitable. That time is coming. The 3,000 Hydra Strix. I was gonna say, and this was basically this Scapegoat, Metamorphosis, and Black Luster Soldier were like the bee's knees of this format. As I said, he 8 monsters. You can flip them down. They powered up. Blah 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 blah. So there you guys have it. There's my beautiful, wonderful goat deck. I was gonna say, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, rate, blah 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 blah. Thank you guys for watching.